Hey everybody, Jeff, your executive gardener. I hope you're having a good one. Hey, listen, it's spring here in Pennsylvania, and still a little bit chilly out, but yesterday we got up to 72 degrees, which is a good sign. So that means garden centers are starting to get tomatoes, peppers, and the likes out there for us. So I'll give you an update of what I'm growing here. We're still doing the new gardener series. We'll show that in another video. But I'll show you my yard. I'll show you where the raised beds will be going. But in this episode, I'm going to show you my green stalk garden. And there's a few plants that I've gotten outside because we're getting close to the point where it's not frost anymore. So this episode, though, is one of my favorite. And I did a video like this probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm going to show you easily how you can make your own potatoes or grow your own potatoes, at home. This is one of my most favorite things that I used to do with my kids when they were little. Now they're 16 and 18, but when they were little, we used to grow them. And what you see here is I have a pretty decent size, I think it's a 25-gallon grow bag. And we are going to show you how to grow potatoes in here. I'll show you how to get it started, and then we'll bring you back in a few weeks to see how the potatoes are doing. So let me get behind the camera, show you an update in the garden, what's going on here, what I'm growing outside, and then we'll get started planting my seed potatoes. And it's a perfect time of year if you're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or anywhere in the Northeast to do potatoes before it gets too hot. All right, here we go. Here's what's growing in the backyard. As you'll see, got some rain yesterday, and still nothing landscaped in the backyard yet. But soon it will be. So here's the green stalk garden. Like I talked about before, you'll see the lettuce is getting a little bit bigger, and you'll see it's starting to grow nicely. The romaine down there are growing nicely as well. And you see my last video, I talked all about this. In this bed, I planted some radishes. And as you know, radishes usually take about 40-45 days. And on the top, my wife wanted me to plant some sage, some dill, and I don't know what that is, but 3 herbs in here. And the reason I spaced this out, I only used 3 of the pockets here, is herbs tend to take over. The roots are really aggressive, and they'll just completely take over. But as you'll see, this is a great way to garden. I don't have to weed. Love it. And I have another one of these that I'm going to be putting out here soon. I also decided to purchase these. I think I got these at $70 at the Walmart, and they're just a great deal. Nice natural kind of raised wooden boxes. Now what I do is they have, as you can see, there's slots on the bottom. So I don't recommend putting soil in there, but it's a great way to keep grow bags organized. My wife hates when I grow with pots and grow bags and they're all over the place. You'll see there the slots allow the grow bag to drain, and you'll I think here I have 2 different bell peppers. I have a patio tomato, and then my 2 black seaman tomatoes, which are right there. One of them is a habanero pepper for my friend. I really don't eat hot peppers. So I'm starting to get these outside. I bring them in at night. That's why I have them in the grow bags, because there's still a chance it could get below 50 degrees, and peppers and tomatoes don't do too well, especially peppers, when it gets below 50 degrees. In that grow bag, normal, excellent potting mix, I enhance it with some additional organic fertilizer, put plenty of perlite to make sure the soil is lots of air pockets. So that's what I have. So that's what I'm doing so far. Let me just show you something. So you'll see here's the side of my yard here, and what we're going to be doing here, this comes down to the bottom of my yard. We have about an acre lot here, and it's hard to imagine here because we only moved in a few months ago, but this will be, so there'll be stepped raised beds. There'll be a path that goes down here from the top to the bottom, and each level will have about 8 by 10 by 3 raised beds. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then as you go down the steps, the raised beds will be in some type of stamped concrete that are 3 or 4 feet high. Now surrounding the entire property, you'll soon see is a 6-foot fence, wrought iron black fence that will go completely around the entire property, okay? And the reason why is we have deer. There's a lot of deer. We have about 15, 20 deer that roam these things. They typically won't get over a 6-foot fence. So it'll be interesting. And then, of course, because of the water down here, we'll get a number of drains under the soil that will carry the water down there. So a lot of work to be done as we move forward, as with any new yard for any of you who have moved. But I really like these benches. They seem to be kind of clean, and all my raised containers will be in here this year. So that's what I have growing. Again, I'll show you the peppers that I did in the new garden series in a different video. But let me show you real quick, which is really the purpose of this video, is to show you how you can start potatoes with your kids or for yourself and have some great homemade potatoes. Okay, everybody, we're back. So here is looks to be about a 25 or 30 pound grow bag. I'll put a link underneath to show you where I got it from. I don't know where I got it from. I think I got it from Amazon, but it's pretty cool, and I'll tell you why. The grow bag has a Velcro thing here that you can open, so you can, let me get this on camera. So you can flip this open, because when you grow potatoes, we'll talk about in a second, you keep hilling them. So as the potatoes, what we're going to do is, before you get started, let's start with this. You're going to put some potting mix at the bottom. Now the potting, just get your standard potting mix that you get at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever the case may be. I would add maybe 1 part compost or composted manure to it, to every 5 parts potting mix. Then you want to put a ton of perlite in it. It's because you want the soil to have lots of air pockets. You want the soil to be loose. And then put just a general 4-4-4 or a 5-5-5, little bit of a fertilizer in here. And that's about all you need. So I have about 2 inches of potting mix at the bottom of this bag here. And then what you're going to do here is, I actually have 2 different types of potatoes here. So this is a russet Burbank potato. You see it's a smaller type potato. You'll see the eye popping out right here. And then the other one, my wife had some potatoes in the cabinet, and they're bigger potatoes. What I did was I sliced it. Look at the size difference. This is half of a potato. I sliced it in half, and you'll see that there's out of the eye, you have some growth here already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these at the bottom. So what you want to do when you put these at the bottom, 2 inches at the bottom of your soil, you want to put the eye of the potato here and here facing up. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. And you want to space them out about 5 inches each. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these all at the bottom, space them out about 5 inches with the eye sticking up. So that grows, these eyes are going to grow out and get stems, and they will lead to other potatoes. So in general, you know, a pot like this big can typically handle 5 or 6. And I'm going to put these in here like this, and then 1 more. Okay. So I have them all spaced out. As you can see here, they're all 5 inches apart toward the bottom. What I want to do next is take some potting mix like I described before, a little bit of manure, 1 part manure, 5 parts potting mix, a tremendous amount of perlite at the bottom here, and a little bit of general 4-4-4 fertilizer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these up about 3 or 4 inches over the level of where the potatoes were. So I'm going to level it out. And again, the soil line is 3 or 4 inches above the top of the eye of the potato, which is at the bottom. And then what's going to happen, I'm going to water this, and then I'm going to come back in probably about 5 or 6 days, maybe a week to 9 days, I'll start to see the stems start popping up. So where the stem was popping up out of the eye, it'll start popping out of the top. And then what's going to happen, I don't put any more potatoes in here. I'm going to keep adding soil to the point where the soil line, the top of the soil line is about 3 inches below the top of the stem and the leaves that are coming out. You keep hilling them, and then each one of the seed potatoes should produce, let's say, 4 to 6 different potatoes. And that's how you get potatoes. But the nice thing about this container as opposed to planting in the ground is, number one, you can control how loamy your soil is, you can control the nutrients, you can control the acidity level. Now when you grow potatoes, they like a little bit more acidic soil. So I will be adding a acid enhancer or some pellets to decrease the acidity of the soil. You want the soil about 5.5, very similar to what blueberries like. And I'll add that, I don't have it right now, but it'll be here in 2 days, and I'll add that to the top. That will get in there, and will change the acidity and the pH of the soil down to about 5.5, which is what potatoes like. And that's one of the reasons why I added manure in there too, the composted manure, is add to the acidity of the soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to water this, let it sit. Potatoes do like the weather between 60 and 80 degrees generally. They do like full sun, so once you start to have these stems start to pop up, then you want them in full sun 6 to 8 hours a day. And I should have mentioned at the bottom of this bag are 4 drain holes. So any excess water will go through the bottom. I am going to leave this outside, so if it does get rained on, again, no problem, it'll sink through the bottom. One of the things about these grow bags, which is really nice, is that the oxygen can go in and out of the side fabric walls here, which tends to allow the roots to grow a lot quicker and keep the plant healthier. Again, if your soil is not acidic enough, one of the big things that potatoes get is scab. And scab will ruin all your potatoes. And by keeping the acidity about 5.5, that's exactly where you want to be. So I'm going to water these, and I'll bring you back in about 7 to 9 days. Now again, your kids will love this. When we fill this bag up, what happens is you can do one of two things. You can dump the bag over on its side, and the kids can go picking through all the potatoes in there, or you can open this side slatch, open it up and pull the potatoes out. But I promise you, you've never tasted anything like a fresh potato. Very different than when you get in the store. Very buttery in texture. In addition, I have 2 more bags like this. I'll be growing some additional potatoes. When I bring you back in a week to 10 days, I should have those growing as well, and we'll show you how the potatoes are going. Hope you've enjoyed this quick episode from the Executive Gardener channel. This is Jeff. See you next time.